What's up, guys, and welcome back to this week's Bourbon of the Week. This week we're doing something a little bit different. We're going back to the beginning, into the archives. We're going with Basil Hayden's. We've already reviewed this on this channel, but we're going to see our original review, and we're going to see, I put out a poll to see if you guys think this is where it deserves to be on the list. You guys voted that this one deserves to either be higher or lower. We're going to find out on the list right here. So this landed at an 8.13. Well, let's go into the archives and see what the original video looked like. Check this out. So should we start out with, should we start out with the home screen face? That's
I love bad. That is beautiful.
I don't know why. I don't think I knew how to edit it so that it wouldn't pop. I don't know.
I want to make like a meme of that.
No, we don't need that. Anyway, let's get into the review here. What is up, y'all, and welcome back to our Bourbon of the Week. What we're going to do here, we're going to change the Hardy notes.
You were obsessed with those.
I love those. I still love them. I think I might bring them back. Change things up a little bit on this channel. I want to get back to the basics, back to telling you guys good price bourbons.
You're like in a shadow.
Yeah, why am I yelling at people? And why am I looking down on everybody? Why do I think I'm better?
Your hat is like covering your eyes.
Just like
you got
real
like
dark.
Some dark circles going on.
And the stretch screen, have we even mentioned that yet? Why does my face look so fat? Quality has definitely come a long way.
Yeah.
That much we can be sure of. Why you should drink them and why you should buy them. So to do that, we're going to rank the bourbons in my collection. We're going to add to my collection as we go, and we're going to give you 3 different
You definitely added to your collection.
I did add to the, look how much room I have. We can get a zoom in on this in a minute, but this is a lot better. Not that you're happy about that. We're going to give you price, we're going to give you taste, we're going to give you drinkability.
Yeah,
breaks down pretty simple.
things.
Price, how much does a bottle cost? Just in case anybody didn't, in case you didn't know what price was, that's how much a bottle costs, just in case you were wondering. Taste, does it taste good? Are you going to get overwhelmed with the taste as a new bourbon drinker? Drinkability, how easy is it to drink? Do I need an ice cube? Is it smooth or what? So to get right down.
Nice transition.
The transition breaks down. I'm pretty sure the basil bottle. Get right down into it. We're going back to the original. That means I took at least 3 or 4 takes to get that basil bottle down off the shelves and back. It was even jiggling still. First review that we've done on this channel. We're going to start, like I said, with price. Basil Hayden's runs about $35 here for a bottle. Just bought it again today, $42.99. We'll get into that, but that's a $7 increase in
I can't believe that.
6 months maybe. That's kind of crazy. We'll get into that though. In Pennsylvania, like I said before, bourbons start at 80 proof, so bang for your buck. This is my first review, and I've said it before. Like I said before, bourbons start at 80 proof. I've never said that. We're gonna give it an 8.1 on the bourbon price scale. As for taste, this doesn't overwhelm the palate. There's not a lot of. I think that's a fair for 35 bucks for Basil's 8.1. Huge flavor in there. It tastes like a bourbon, but it's not on the scale of some other bourbons that I have in my collection. So for taste, we're only gonna give this about a 7.4 for taste. Why am I swaying? You see me back and forth this whole time? What am I doing? I feel like I'm freaking out.
And you're so serious.
Too serious. Way too serious. As well as I talk about how much worse it is than other bourbons in my collection. Let me just tell you that that's like the entire collection behind it. All 5 other bourbons.
Which seemed like a lot at the time.
At the time. Hey, this bourbon is not as good as these other 5 bourbons, even though it's better than Elijah Craig, better than Redemption. 1792's got a special place in my heart. Jefferson's is decent. I think we did Jefferson's. Old Elk is trash. So what was I comparing it to? Blanton's and Woodford? I don't know. Anyway, 7.4 on taste, apparently. It's great for new bourbon drinkers, but it's not going to have a lot of flavors coming at you. As for drinkability, that's where this thing hits high. We're giving this an 8.9. Easy drinking.
And this was when you did your own editing.
I did do my own editing here. Shout out Hannah. It has gotten much better.
Yeah.
This is bad.
What a difference.
Look at that. I tried my own Photoshop work too. Look at the drinkability. That's bad. Terrible. Bite. If you're new to the bourbon world, throw an ice cube in it. Don't ever throw an ice cube in this. Don't ever throw an ice cube in this.
80 proof with an ice cube.
80 proof with an ice cube. If you can't drink an 80 proof bourbon, then don't get into the bourbon world. If you're not, and you're just looking for something smooth to sip on, you can't go wrong with Basil Hayden's. That's going to break our average down to 8.1. No cut there, which means I knew my numbers. I did the math beforehand. I had a little script written out.
Yep.
Now I just wing it. 3, and we're going to put it right here on our list at number 1 since it's our first bourbon.
Aw, look at the little list.
The first one on the list, but this is better or worse than other bourbons. Even though it was look at that terrible ranking sheet.
It's so
no
cute,
logo.
though.
Half the lines are blurred out. Anyway,
You've
we're doing
come
this
so
way.
far.
Check back next week to see what bourbon we're going to do next, see where it falls on the list. Thanks for stopping.
Thanks for stopping.
Thanks for stopping. Bourbon of the week. Bourbon of the week. Thanks for stopping.
This is like
Nobody stopped.
so serious.
Nobody
you.
was like driving through YouTube and they were like, I'll stop in over here.
I mean, for a 2-minute video, it's just a little stop.
I guess that's true. So we've definitely come a far way from the original,
far
number
way.
one video that we had. 8.13 is where it fell before. We mentioned the price went up a little bit, $7. This is what, 5 or 6 months ago that I did this video. So let's get into our actual review and see where this falls. Cheers. Back at it with the Basil Haydens here. We're gonna do Marissa and Chris together
tiny bit.
rather than no Rissa's reviews. Yeah, she's not drinking that much. We have the wedding coming up this Saturday. Birds game tonight, so let's get a little extra pour here. We're also out of work for a couple of months and weeks,
Whoop, whoop.
so I don't know why she's taking some time off. But everybody knows before we get started, time for the traditional sip. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's been a while, but that's good. So I haven't had this in a long time, but this is a solid bourbon. It's one of the best bourbons that I recommend for people new to the bourbon world. One thing, because it's 80 proof, so how did you feel on that drinkability there?
Very good.
You liked it?
Not too burny.
Not too burny?
Just a little warm.
I think even for 80 proof, this sip's kind of easier. It doesn't even taste like an 80 proof. Obviously, 80 proof on the lower end of the spectrum there has to be an 80 proof to be considered a bourbon, but you could sip on this?
Yeah.
You would sip on this? All right, we'll get into taste in a minute. But for drinkability, I forget what we even gave it. We just watched the video.
8.1.
An 8 drinkability, I gave this an 8.9, I think. 8.9. And
taste was like 7 point.
Yeah. I think I'm still up there on drinkability.
I agree.
I might keep this right where it should be at an 8.9 on drinkability. Smooth drinking. You're only getting an 80 proof, but even for an 80 proof, it kind of sips lower than that. You don't get any real ethanol kick with this at all. So we're going to keep it with an 8.9. Marissa agrees, which that's always a good thing, especially with drinkability. So ladies, if you don't like that bourbon ethanol kick, she's got you. 8.9 on drinkability. So that's going to bring us over into taste. Taste on this. And again, the taste, we gave it a little worse score on taste when we did the original. But the taste isn't bad at all. I think it tastes pretty good. It's got all your traditional bourbon flavors. You taste anything special in there? Anything fun? It almost tastes a little watered down, but not as bad as I remember it being before. This was obviously one of the first bourbons that we did, so I didn't have a real repertoire of bourbons that I've tasted. This actually stacks up pretty well, if you ask me. You like it?
Yeah, I can't think of like what special taste it has, but I like it.
The only thing I saw online when I did look this up was somebody said like peaches. I don't get any peaches. I'm not the type of guy that can pull fruity notes like that out or floral notes. So, you got any peaches in there? No peaches. The taste on this good. It's solid. No real extra. This is a high rye mash. So it does have those spices, which I actually really like for that low proof high rye because it gives it a little flavor.
It's definitely spicy.
Gives it a little flavor, but at the same time, it doesn't have a lot of ethanol kick or heat to it. So I think for taste on this, we had a 7.1 before. I think that was a little low on taste if you're going to ask me. I think we would give this 7.5 on taste. Okay. I think it's up there a little bit higher than I thought before. Tastes real good. Nothing really stands out or has that disgusting flavor to it. It's just a solid, smooth bourbon.
I think you might have done 7.4.
Was it a 7.4? Then maybe I was right on point. That's where the 7.5 I think is where I would put this now that I've had all these bourbons before. I wish we could. Can we turn the camera around? Look at that creep. Look at that creep.
He's so cute.
He likes when we record.
We love you.
Anyway, so getting back into it, 7.5 on taste, and that's going to bring us over into price. Now, originally when we did this, which was like 6 or 7 months ago, we said $35.
Yeah.
$42.99 when I bought it today. I don't want to say that it was my review that made the high demand for Basil's bump up the price on this, but $42.99 is kind of, now you broke the $40 range. I'm trying to think of, I mean, even like a Four Roses is $35.
Yeah, it's a little pricey.
It's kind of pricey.
But it's so popular, I don't blame them.
I mean, if they're going to get the money, get your money. But this is a Jim Beam product. Jim Beam puts out a lot of products. But this is also the lower proof of the Jim Beam products. What else do we have? The Jim Beam What's their original? I don't even have their original. I think their original is 80 as well.
There's a bottle that you don't have?
I drank it all.
Oh, okay.
That's what I took shots of. But being 80 proof, $42 is kind of tough for an 80 proof bourbon. I don't remember. I think it's like a 4-year age on this. But I don't really like that price tag on it. It's good. It's easy, smooth drinking. It's always available. But $42 is getting kind of tough for me. So I would probably give this like a 7.1. Let's drop it right in back at that 7.1. Let's call it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7.0 on price because I don't think that it deserves to be a $40 bottle. What do you think? Kind of pricey?
Kind of pricey, but I think you're going to drop this on your list.
It might have to drop a little bit. And everybody, I don't know if they wanted it higher or wanted it lower, but we'll find out. But before we do that, I'll do a little bit of adding things up, and let's jump over for our Bourbon Bomb of the Week with Basil Hayden's. So this week's Bourbon Bomb of the Week brought to you by Mr. Basil Hayden's himself. Now, Mr. Basil Hayden's is actually also known as Old Granddad, and many of you may know we have the Old Granddad, we have the original, and we have the bonded over here. So his nickname was Old Granddad, and he's also nicknamed the King of High Rye or something like that. He loved the High Rye mash bill, so a lot of his bourbons that he had part of making were all High Rye mash bills. He actually settled the Bardstown, Kentucky area, which you might know today as the bourbon capital of the world. So he was one of the first people to move in. He donated money to build the first church in that area and obviously opened up one of the first distilleries to get things going. So without him, who knows where Kentucky would be on the map of the bourbon world, but he's the one that gave it to us.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that pretty cool? Mm-hmm. I'll drink to that. Here's
Old
to
Granddad.
you, Mr. Hayes.
Sorry, what?
And that's going to give us an average of actually dropping it on the list here of 7.83 repeating. And I think what hurt this bottle in the past 6 or 7 months is they jumped the price $7. You can't go up $7 and put out the same product. I understand supply and demand and all that, and the economy's tough, so I don't know if I'm going to be spending $42 on a bottle. I know Ray won't like that when he hears this one. This is one of his favorite bottles. But again, just jumping it up $42 from $35, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
That's
know.
a lot.
It is a lot, especially in that period of time. It's not like it was a 5 or 6 year thing. Product's the same, very consistent product. I can't disagree with any of that. The drinkability was right there the first time. The taste, I think, even got a little better. So it's really that price that really killed this bottle. But let me know what you think. If you think that this deserved to drop or if you were expecting to go up on the list. I know I also talked about Elijah Craig. Maybe we'll do that one as a revisit as well. So, but in the meantime, that's where this bottle's going to fall, literally.
Your dad's going to be mad, too.
My dad's going to be mad. My dad will buy it anyway. He thinks he has money to spend. He doesn't. So that's where we're going to put it, 7.83. It is what it is, but in the meantime, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe. We're doing this every Whiskey Wednesday at 5 o'clock. We're pushing our 250 subscriber giveaway. Can't tell you what it is yet, but once we get there, I promise you it's going to be worth it. But in the meantime, please don't drink and drive. Drink responsibly, and as always,
wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Pandemic's getting worse. You're not doing it. Cheers, y'all. You never walk away. You see me turning, and you just stand there and look at me. By the way, she's wearing a Mills jersey. He's trash. Jalen
His number changed, but this shows that I'm a legit, real fan, OG, from the beginning.
Of Jalen Mills.
Interception last week. There's going to be one this week, too.
Yeah. Let's cut. Basil Hayden's, folks. If you haven't had it, 80 proof, good sipper. You don't need ice if you're into it.